Hi everyone, welcome to Difference Frames the World, a channel to find a real China. Today we would like to talk about Taiwan, a place described as the most dangerous area in the world by the British media, The Economist, on its cover page. Taiwan's connection with China mainland can date back to 230 AD, nearly 1,800 years ago. It is the earliest record in Chinese history. China was an agricultural country in the past. The tie between China mainland and Taiwan was not very tight until nearly 360 years ago, when the Ming dynasty's banished general, Zhang Chenggong, took it over from Holland invaders in 1662. Zhang Chenggong died soon after he got Taiwan Islands back. Kanchi reunited Taiwan in 1683 by force and negotiations, after 9 rounds of unsuccessful peace talks with Taiwan's exile government in the previous 22 years. Qing dynasty's general Shi Lang directed the Battle of Penghu, after which Taiwan agreed to surrender. Zhang Chenggong had eradicated Shi Lang's family, but Shi Lang did not harm Zhang Chenggong's family members with a vengeance. Taiwan became a province in 1885, but the proposal of setting up Taiwan province was raised in 1737. From 1885 to 1895, it became a province of the Qing dynasty. Lu Mingchuan was the first premier of the Taiwan province. Nowadays, the license plates in Taiwan still bear the name Taiwan Province in traditional Chinese. Japan occupied Taiwan for 50 years till 1945, when Japan was defeated by the Allied forces in World War II. After the Republic of China recovered Taiwan, the United States let Japan administer Diaoyu Islands, which intentionally created a disaccord between China and Japan. In Japan, Diaoyu Islands are called the Senkaku Islands. They are a group of uninhabited islands in the East China Sea. Both China and Japan claim their sovereignty. If there is a conflict or war between China and Japan, Diaoyu Islands will be the impetus. We have to say the US politicians had begun undermining China before the Communist Party defeated the Kuomintang troops in 1949. Beijing keeps saying there is only one China, and Taiwan is a province of China. America nominally agrees with the One China principle. However, it has been preventing the reunification of China mainland and Taiwan in the past 7 decades. As we mentioned in previous videos, Taiwan will be the next after America fails in Tibet, Hong Kong and Xinjiang. The year 2022 will be the 360th anniversary of Taiwan's recovery from the Netherlands. It will be a dangerous year, as 360 is a unique number in Chinese culture. Beijing may not conquer Taiwan by force in 2022, but it will move a step further for sure. A strong consensus has been reached in China mainland to reunite China mainland and Taiwan. In China's social media, the Chinese netizens have been pushing their government for reunification by force. The United States is afraid it can no longer prevent China from getting Taiwan back by force. When China formally surpasses the US in 2027 or 2028, the US Army may have to keep a safe distance from Taiwan. Even China is no longer patient with Taiwan authorities. History repeats itself. China will probably resort to force eventually. Another battle of Penghu should be necessary to smash the illusions of some Taiwan politicians. The US warmongers have been trying to anger China by intense provocations since Biden took office, especially when Joe Biden showed his cowardice by saying he respects President Xi Jinping's resolution for China's national unity. Some ambitious militants want to prevent Sleeping Joe from giving up Taiwan to Beijing. Even Blinken and Joe Biden are not on the same page. Blinken does not want to show his weakness to China for political reasons, as Pompeo had dug many loopholes for him and Joe Biden before Joe Biden took office. China has been opposing US interference in Taiwan affairs in the past decades. In August and September 2020, when Alex Azar and Keith Crack visited Taiwan, Chinese fighter jets approached the island. Now China's Air Force patrols Taiwan regularly. On January 14, 2021, the US ambassador to Switzerland, Edward McMullen, met the Taiwan representative, David Huang, after the US officially loosened the control over official restrictions between the US and Taiwan. The US ambassador to the United Nations, Kelly Craft, should have visited Taiwan from January 13 to 15 if China's PLA did not threaten to stop her flight in the air with Chinese fighters. At the end of March, the U.S. ambassador to Palau stealthily visited Taiwan like a CIA agent. At the same time, Taiwan is seeking the normalization of interactions with its international partners. On April 30, 2021, the U.S. top official in France, Brian Agala, invited Taiwan representative in France, François Wu, to his office, acclaimed by Taiwan media CNA as the first step of normalization between the U.S. and Taiwan since 1979. The tension in the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait between the U.S. and China has attracted more eyeballs than in 2020. Joe Biden has not only carried on Trump's hardline stance against China, but also got more aggressive than his predecessor. Both Joe Biden and the U.S. military are in a dilemma. Biden knows China will replace the U.S. as the first economy globally, and the United States has become a fragile economy not backed by manufacturing. Military expenses account for around 4.5% of the GDP, and the arms trade has kidnapped the whole country. Even if he wants to give up Taiwan, the deep state will not allow him to do that. Taiwan is not only America's ATM, but also a tool to deter China. As we said in previous videos, Taiwan is at the center of the chip industry. If the U.S. lost Taiwan to China mainland, it would be the United States to be strangled. Donald Trump realized it, so he wanted TSMC to move some capacity to the United States. The U.S. military knows the Chinese Navy is at a better position in the first island chain. The Chinese fighters have been regularly patrolling Taiwan for quite a while, demonstrating China's resolution to safeguard its sovereignty. 70 years ago, Chair Mao protected North Korea, but lost his last chance to liberate Taiwan because China did not have a strong navy and air force to counteract the United States. If China had not sided with the former Soviet Union fighting the United Nations Army in the Korean War, Taiwan should have been controlled by the Communist Party in the early 1950s. Taiwan's Chiang Kai-shek had looked forward to World War III so he could recover China mainland, but both China mainland and the U.S., including the USSR, that was at the back of China mainland during the Korean War, kept the Korean War as a regional war. President Harry S. Truman fired MacArthur, who had proposed to nuke China's northeast provinces. The U.S. knew China's chairman Mao would never succumb. Once the U.S. Army stepped onto China mainland soil, World War III would be inevitable. If the war with the Soviets and Chinese dragged on, the U.S. and its allies could hardly win because the Soviet Union could veto UN operations. The U.S. could not involve other UN members to help it. President Truman did not want to confront the USSR directly, as World War III might enable the USSR to occupy China's northeast provinces, as it had done to Outer Mongolia. If the Soviet Union controlled China's northeast provinces, it could extend its power range to the Far East by obtaining access to the Pacific Ocean. Of course, Chairman Mao would refuse to cede his northeast provinces to the Soviets. He might, most likely, allow the USSR to possess one or more military bases there. That was the last thing the U.S. wanted to see. After the Korean War, Chiang Kai-shek could not get support from the U.S. to counterattack China mainland. But the U.S. could not convince the Kuomintang to declare independence from China mainland. Chiang Kai-shek and his son were both patriots. They did not want to be labeled as traitors in Chinese history. Chiang Kai-shek died in 1975. His coffin is still waiting to be buried in China mainland. Chairman Mao died the second year in 1976, and he has not been buried yet. Instead, Chairman Mao has been preserved in a vacuum crystal coffin for millions of people to worship every year. We have to say both Chiang Kai-shek and Chairman Mao were great leaders. Chiang Kai-shek nominally ended the warring state of China and led his government fighting the Japanese invaders. In Chinese culture, deceased people need to be buried and rest in peace. We hope one day, both Chairman Mao and Chiang Kai-shek can be buried in the ground. It is inhumane to keep them unburied for so long a time. Only when they are buried will there be a unified modern China. If you think China should continue to keep Chairman Mao unburied in the middle of Tiananmen Square, share your viewpoints with other viewers. Today is the first day of May 2021, and this month, the South China Sea will be very busy. One viewer asked us whether Taiwan will declare independence, as many foreign forces are on the way to the South China Sea, having a military exercise there. He especially mentioned the UK warships. Chinese people have been looking forward to seeing British aircraft carrier for a long time. Since the British warship escaped from China, over 70 years have passed. We do not know whether the British carrier still has the leakage problem. If the issue persists, it should have drunk enough seawater before approaching the South China Sea. France also sends warships to the South China Sea to join the US, Canadian, Japanese, Australian, and UK warships. The French defense guy wanted to teach China to understand international law. Sorry, we forgot to check what that guy's name is, and there is no need to waste our time on that. Both the UK and France still think they are global powers, but it is the year 2021 now, not 1860. They should wake up. As Canadians, we are proud that our government also sent our most powerful warship there. The Canadian warship adopts the country's advanced technology in the 1980s. We hope our officers can take good care of our precious boat. To that viewer's question whether Taiwan will declare independence, we believe that Taiwanese lady, who has eaten at least 200 kilograms of freedom pineapples, does not have the guts yet. She should have known that the US military is no longer confident to confront the Chinese Navy in Taiwan Strait by itself. Look at the US destroyer Mustin. It is so shabby and rusty compared with China's 055 cruisers. When China decides not to keep a low profile anymore, it knows it is strong enough to defend its sovereignty and unity. Once Taiwan declares independence, the war begins. Put your opinion in the comments below if you want to share your thoughts with other viewers. Thank you so much for your time on this video. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and share them with people you know. We publish videos daily and post long videos on topics viewers are interested in once or twice a week. If you have anything you want to share with us, please leave your comments below.